We're here to discuss college basketball, the NCAA tournament, and how San Diego State finished the season. Here's former Aztec coach Steve Fisher back on Scott and BR. Hi, Coach.
Hello, folks. How we doing?
Doing great, Coach. Yourself?
I'm doing great.
Yeah. Coach, start us off with just an initial thought. The way San Diego State battled from 13-10, won the Mountain West Conference tournament, had a very tough draw in the first round, could right now could be sitting as a Sweet 16 team. But just your first thought on the way the season wrapped.
Proud of our Aztecs. When everybody was throwing water on them and telling them what they couldn't do and the disappointment they'd been, at 13-10, they righted the ship and went on a 9-10 game win streak to win the conference tournament, get to the NCAA tournament, and come within a couple of free throws or a basket to still be playing. Yeah. So I'm very proud of what they did down the stretch.
Yeah, and Coach, you got to be proud of what the job that Brian Dutcher did.
I think I said on your show that his steady hand when everybody was talking of doom and gloom, I think was the key to making sure that the players didn't panic and start playing exclusively for themselves, but still knew that they had opportunity to have a remarkable end to a wonderful season.
Mm-hmm. Coach Steve Fisher on Scott and BR on the Mighty 1090. Coach, it just so happens that San Diego State runs into a Houston team that's good, and they come from a good conference, and everybody's looking at them. We were trying to do the same thing. We're like, okay, so on this side, you've got the top teams from their conference. You've got Houston, and you've got Wichita State, and you've got Cincinnati, and then over here on our side, you've got Nevada, and you've got Boise State, and you've got New Mexico, top three teams in the Mountain West Conference, excluding the Aztecs at that point. Trying to figure out which was the better conference. Houston beat San Diego State just barely, last second shot. And then Nevada beat Cincinnati after they were down 22 points. What do you think these two games or where Nevada is, how San Diego State played, good for the Mountain West Conference?
Oh, I think it's great for the Mountain West Conference. I think most people across the country would say that the American Conference with Cincinnati was rated in the top 10 all year. Wichita, who has been to a Final Four recently and just moved from the Missouri Valley to that conference. And now Houston, who has been gangbusters since Kelvin Sampson has come there, was a better league, top to bottom. I think that we proved or showed that we have a conference that's very capable of playing with anybody. And I think that's the beauty of basketball. I think it also says how much, and probably too much of a premium, but we all do it, that we place on these 3 weeks in March and April.
Yeah, yep. Coach, it was an amazing game San Diego State played against Houston, and really the amazing thing about the game was the game really did, it kind of put together the whole season. You know, you're down, and it looks like a team's going to run away, and you just keep battling and fighting and finding other guys to step up. Devin Watson at the end of that game, the 2 threes that he hit, I think as I look forward into the future, those are such great confidence-building moments for a kid who was a natural scorer, who really didn't score as much this year as we might have expected. I think the future is very bright for this team.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And I know you talked before, and you talked with Devin about him being a leader, the leadership qualities, and next year taking that mantle and wanting to lead this team. And I think he's ready to do that. And Devin is. He's a natural scorer. And he's got moxie. He's unafraid. And it was great to see him make 2 huge pressure threes at the end of the game to give us what we thought was a chance to win or go into overtime. And I know we talked before the game, and I think my comment was, it's not going. If you get to 70, you're going to win the game, because Houston plays really good, physical, tough defense, and San Diego State's defense is so much better than it was early in the season. I don't think anyone believed that Gray, I think it's for Rob Gray, yeah. Rob Gray would do what he did. He was absolutely, no guard in America could have been better than what he displayed against us. in that first round game.
39 points overall, and I'm trying to remember the stat exactly, but in the second half, Alex, do you remember the stat that he scored like
21 out of their last 22 points.
Yeah, 21 of 22.
Oof.
Yeah, it was crazy. The kid played an amazing game. I got to give the kid all the credit in the world. I know we all had fun on Twitter calling him Man Bun, and people made fun of his hairdo, but he was amazing, Coach, from all over the floor. But let me ask you this. Do you think on the final play, do you think he traveled?
Probably not. Probably not. No, they're not going to call travel on that play. I mean, if you're an Aztec fan, you hope that some way, somehow they would call something to disallow the basket. But I did not in any way think that it was a travel.
Even after he scored that basket, San Diego State still had a legit chance to win the game. And I thought Trey Kell had a really good look at a three-pointer. And, Coach, again, if that thing just drops, we could be talking Sweet 16 right now. I mean, that's how truly close this game was. And I thought the ball was in the right kid's hands at the right time. What did you think?
I agree. I watched them practice on Wednesday in Wichita, at Wichita State's home arena, and they worked on specialty plays, and we call that home run, where I told Angie, I said, well, Trey's going to rear screen Malik to the rim, and Matt Mitchell's either going to try to throw it to the rim for Malik or throw it to Trey. And it was a great pass by Mitchell, and Trey did a wonderful job catching and had a Christian Laettner type look right at the buzzer that would have won the game for us. And we are one of many teams, Houston included, that's saying, but for one more play, we could still be playing.
Yeah, that's right. Coach, this is what's so exciting about the tournament and it happens seemingly every year, but we've had years recently where the chalk has made it to the Final Four. Coach, you see what's going on now in the West where if San Diego State, again, if Trey Kell hits that shot, they would have had Michigan. You saw how close it was between Michigan and Houston. And you just take a look at what's going to happen in L.A. The 9-seed Florida State against the 4-seed Gonzaga, the number 3-seed Michigan against the number 7-seed Texas A&M, Xavier the 1 knocked out, North Carolina the 2 knocked out. It's crazy what's going to happen in L.A. this weekend. Yeah,
it really is. And I mean, they're all talking about the South region where Virginia was eliminated and Calipari was Calipari's out west, but Virginia was eliminated, and we have 5 versus 9 and 7 versus 11.
That's right.
In the South.
That's right. Loyola Chicago against
first
Nevada.
First time ever, I think they said that a 1, 2, 3, and 4, none of them had made it to the round of 16.
Right, and Kentucky, Kansas State, a 5 versus 9. Coach, what do you think? Nevada, Coach, they got a realistic shot of making it to the Final Four because there's no Virginia and because there's no Cincinnati. And you mentioned 3 and 4 are out as well. Tennessee was the 3 seed, and the 4 seed was Arizona. Arizona was upset, obviously, by Buffalo. Huge, huge upset. Nevada's got like a real chance. They're playing Loyola Chicago.
I think most people that were watching that game yesterday when they were 22 points behind with about 12 minutes to go, went outside and played catch. It's such beautiful weather and said, well, that's the end of the Mountain West. And they had an incredible run. And they're playing the Loyola Chicago team that had a buzzer beater to win their opener and a buzzer beater against Tennessee. Miami of Florida and Tennessee that takes a shot at the buzzer. And I think that good sister for sure helped that last one. It had no chance to go in when it hit the rim and goes straight up and goes in. For them to win that game against Tennessee is incredible.
Yeah.
Some phenomenal endings to games that have been so crazy to watch. None more so than the ones I talked about or the one that we played in. Coach, Michigan's got no chance to win the game.
Yeah.
They're with 3.9 seconds to go. They're a player who had made 6 straight free throws is shooting 2. And he misses both of them, and they hit a 3 at the buzzer.
And Michigan, the kid who hit the 3, did you notice that when he launched the ball, his legs went like spreading apart? And I just assumed, I'm like, okay, well, listen, you're the clock is ticking. You got defenders all over you. There's people in the arena. There's people watching on TV. You just do whatever you can to launch the shot. But they went and they dug up a video of this kid in high school from the same exact spot hitting a game-winning three-pointer, and his feet did the exact same thing.
No kidding.
Coach, I don't know. I don't know enough about the kid. If he shoots the ball, whenever he shoots, he spreads his legs. Did you see that? Is that common?
You know what these kids do now? They all watch and emulate NBA guys that when they shoot, they kick their leg out and hope that they can make contact with the defender and get a foul called on the shot. They're all doing that. I mean, I think that's practiced and planned, the way they kick the leg out. And really, referees at times fall for it when there is contact, rather than either saying that's a no call or calling it on the offensive guy. They give them that benefit of the doubt, and you get a 3-point shot plus a free throw when you do that on occasion. But he made a miraculous shot to win the game for them.
Yep, that's right. Hey, Coach, how do you explain, we're talking to Coach Steve Fisher, not just UMBC beating the number 1 overall team in the first time a 16 beats a 1, but they destroyed Virginia 74-54 in a game that was tied at half. How do you explain that?
You can't. It's impossible to explain. At 21-21 at halftime, people are saying, well, no, Virginia is just being Virginia. 21 points is, what they usually give you, and now they'll get about 42 in the second half and beat them by 10 or 12, and it was just the opposite. Maryland, Baltimore County scored 45 or 50 points in the second half. Every shot they took went in, and it can happen. It happens. It doesn't happen often, and rarely does it happen on that grand of a stage, but they all harken back to when Chaminade beat Virginia and Ralph Sampson in the Maui Classic, and you have that indelible picture front page above the fold of the Chaminade guy sprawled out sitting on top of the basket on the rim after he hit the game-winning shot. And so, our world is, not unlike some of the craziness you see occasionally in football. The one run they got, was it Auburn against Alabama and the Flutie pass? It doesn't happen often, but when it happens, it makes huge headlines. And when it happens 16 against 1, when it's never happened, that's the craziness.
That's right. We're talking to Coach Steve Fisher on Scott and BR on the Mighty 1090. Coach, before you go, lend an opinion to the story of Jalen McDaniels today declaring for the 2018 NBA draft, however, not signing with an agent, meaning he's still got the chance to return to San Diego State. What do you make of this decision?
Well, I would say this to you. If you're a basketball person, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I would think so.
You may or may not know that they changed the rule, I think, 2 years ago to make it user-friendly to the player. It makes the college coaches a little more nervous. Before, you had to withdraw your name by May the 2nd or 3rd, which meant you could not have a workout with an NBA club. So if you put your name in, you either put it in to have it go across the scroll that it was in, knowing you were going to take it out, or you put it in and you had to guess whether you were going to be drafted or not. Today's world, what we always did and what Coach Dutcher will do, he will get an opinion from the NBA. And you submit, I want to request, I'm putting my name in, give me an evaluation. And in 18 NBA clubs, they don't tell you who, they don't put it in writing, but they will get on the phone with you, and you can have Jalen on the phone listening, and they'll tell you. 5 say you're going to be a first-round draft pick. 10 say you're going to be a second round. 3 say you're not going to be drafted. They'll give you that type of input. But the real important thing is, in today's world, you have until April 22nd to put your name in. So Jalen is on the front end of that, and there'll be a lot of people put their name in. But you now have until June 11th to take your name out. So what will happen is he'll be like Malik was last year. For sure he will have the ability to have anywhere from 2 to 5, 3 to 5 workouts with NBA clubs. They then will get a feel for him. They will give their feedback to him. Here's what you need to work on. I mean, everybody knows he needs to get stronger. Here's what you need to do to get better. He'll get the feedback from the NBA, put that all together, and then in consultation with Coach Dutcher, his family, Jalen, make a thoughtful, logical decision now based on fact, not on some guy in his basement saying, well, I think he's going to be a first-round draft pick. If Jalen McDaniels is not a first-round draft pick, almost guaranteed, he should for sure come back. If he's a first-round draft pick, he's got a decision to make. If he's a lottery pick, he has to go. That's always been my thought and sentiment, and
but Coach,
the way I would talk with a family.
But Coach, you've been around this long enough to know what an NBA player is and what an NBA player is not, and when a kid is or when he is not. I'm just asking you what your eyes see. Is Jalen McDaniels an NBA player yet?
Is he an NBA player
right now?
I would say you'd have to close your eyes and say, what's this young guy going to be in 3 years?
Well, okay, so now in 3 years.
Let me say this to you, Scott.
Go ahead.
There are a lot of players that get drafted on just that premise.
Sure.
What will he be like in 2 or 3 years?
Mm-hmm.
And so you draft on potential. That's why the NBA is so hesitant to say, okay, do what you should do. And they probably will now, Scott and BR and Linda. I think when this recommendation comes from the NCAA led by Condoleezza Wright, I don't know why we've got her in charge of the committee, but they'll give recommendations. I do think that they'll talk NCAA with the NBA. But Adam Silver and those guys, they don't want kids coming out of high school. They don't want to make mistakes on guys. But I think they should have the ability to do that. What will happen sooner rather than later, the G League, which is what we used to call the D League, the developmental league, the G League will start paying these young guys more money to play, and that will be our baseball farm system. Every club has a team, and they'll draft guys and say, he may not be ready now, but in 2 years we want him. So they'll draft him and put him in the G League.
Well, I think that's Jalen McDaniels.
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think. Listen to me. I said this to you a week ago. You were sitting at I think the Mountain West tournament, and I sent you a text. I said Jalen McDaniels is the most explosive athlete in the San Diego State basketball program since. I'm trying to remember. You were sitting right next to the young man.
Since Jamal Franklin.
And you said, that's funny, I just showed Jamal.
Yeah, I was sitting right next to him.
I think this kid is, I think Jalen McDaniels is an NBA player, or at least is probably the most likely to be an NBA player of anybody currently on the San Diego State roster. This is my own opinion. But I'm not sure he's ready yet. But if I were drafting and I had the luxury of 2 or 3 years from now, I'd like to have this guy in my farm system, then he fits.
If I were coaching now, I wouldn't say this. But I can say this. I said this to you before. I can say things now that I wouldn't say a year ago.
Yeah, say it.
Jalen should come back for his sophomore year, in my opinion.
There you go.
Unless all of a sudden lightning in a bottle hits and he has some unbelievable, incredible workouts. He some way, somehow gets invited to Chicago where the top 75 kids or 50 kids or however many get invited and plays lights out there. And then everybody start talking about this young guy that all of a sudden is sprung on the national scene.
Mm-hmm.
If that happens, then now you got something to consider. But Jalen could benefit himself greatly by coming back, getting stronger, having a phenomenal year next season, leading this team, helping lead this team to great success, and then have a decision, well, now I got a chance to be a lottery pick a year from now. And in the draft, you're all slotted. You're slotted. If you're a first-round pick, you're going to get over $1 million guaranteed. If you're a lottery pick, you're going to get over $10 million guaranteed. So I think that there's all kinds of reasons to come back and work your way up the ladder, but it makes perfect sense for Jalen McDaniels to do what he's doing right now. I don't think San Diego State fans need to panic. I don't think people need to be critical of why is he doing this. It makes perfect sense for him to do what he's doing.
Yep, I would completely agree. I think you might as well go test the waters.
Sure.
But I'm going to tell you right now, he's 90% coming back, because unless everything that you said happens, chances are there's going to be a lot of scouts saying, you're a young, explosive athlete. You need to get stronger. You need to get bigger. And I'm sure there's other things that he needs to work on in his game. Whatever those things are, they're going to tell him. But I think it's a good idea for the kid. And he did have a great year. He really surprised a lot of people. Man, he's a nice young player. Coach, it is great to talk to you. Thank you so much. And maybe we can catch up later in the week and you can give us some predictions on some games.
That'd be great.
That would be great. I'm excited as everyone is to see what the Sweet 16 will hold now. It'll be very difficult for it to have the excitement and the craziness of endings that we saw this past week.
Right.
Coach, I may need to get you in studio later this week to break down these Sweet 16 games.
Oh, let's do that. Coach hasn't been in studio in a while.
Coach?
Well, I know that you've had me in there once before, so I know how to get there.
Yeah.
Bring
Stand by.
Angie, too. Bring Angie
a little
along.
Angie time would be nice. I could
I
use some
just,
quality Angie time.
She was in the car with. I'm still in the car. We went out for an early dinner, and she listened to the first part of it, and she's heard me
Got
enough.
bored, yeah.
So she's out. She's
I'm
out.
bored with all of you.
All right. Catch up with her, Coach.
All right, Coach, we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy.
All right, gang. Thank you.